Hello again, welcome to Kimmel Bay Church's vlog. Today we're still with Glenn Scrivener's reading Between the Lines, but we're reading from Matthew chapter 10 verses 32 to 39. And the heading of our study is Whoever loses their life shall find it. 2,000 years ago, half of the population of the Roman Empire were slaves. The message about Jesus being spread by the disciples and the followers gave hope to those even in the most dire circumstances. Their lives weren't their own, but Jesus changed the way they saw themselves. Paul, in his letter to the Colossian church, told them in chapter 3, verse 22, to obey their earthly masters in everything, and do it not only when their eye is on you, he says, to curry favor, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. In other words, forget yourself. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. In the Message version, they're told to do your best, work from your heart, for your real master is God, confident that you will get paid in full when you come into your inheritance. At the beginning of our study, Glenn Scrivener quotes from John chapter 10, verse 17. Jesus says, "The reason that my Father loves me is that I lay down my life only to take it up again." Glenn Scrivener says, this is mind-blowing truth. The Father, meaning God, loved the Son, Jesus, in the unity of the Holy Spirit. And that shared love defines the very nature of God. We call it the Holy Trinity. But if Jesus had not laid down his life to pay for the sins of the world, we would not have been able to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. And it's his Holy Spirit living in us who can give us new life now and secure our future with him. First, we have to lose our old life and all those things that take us over and leave us no room for the things of God. So we die to our old way of living and rise to a new, more fulfilling life. This is what adult baptism signifies. If you don't understand what this new life is all about, ask someone whose life has been wrecked by addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, gambling, or other obsessions. And then they've been introduced to Jesus, that inner voice saying, "Don't do it. You're worth more than this. Listen to me. I'll guide you through." And then being introduced to people who have been where they are and can now help them to pick up this new life. What about those of us who feel that this really doesn't apply to us? There are many other examples of laying down our life. The study mentions musicians who give their all to their music, completely lost in the music as they play, feeling so fulfilled, so complete at the end. I used to sway from side to side when I played the piano, and it was a much-loved piece of music. My music teacher would clap her hands to stop me and say, "Stop swaying, you'll fall off your stool one day." And I would say, "I can't sit still, it just makes me move." She said, "Well, sway backwards and forwards then." And if you notice, concert pianists often sway backwards and forwards as they get caught up in the music. An athlete gives up so much of his time to achieve fitness, to reach his goal, their goal. Training takes over their lives. Parents sacrifice everything for their children and find fulfillment when they see what they've helped their children become. Soldiers losing their life, losing their self to be part of a unit because survival might depend on it, finding themselves for the first time. In John chapter 10, verse 10, Jesus tells us that he's come that we may have life and have it to the full. Abundant life, some versions say. And abundant life has nothing to do with material possessions, but the blessings of Jesus working in us now, preparing us for all eternity. All this, of course, can come at a cost. Earlier in our reading, there are some very difficult verses, hard to accept, where Jesus warns that following him can cause division in families. Verse 36, a man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Verse 37, anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. They're difficult words. The gospel can bring division if you are the only Christian in your family. You'll be asked, what on earth happened to you? You're just not the same. You're no fun anymore. Different kind of fun to what you enjoy now. When I became a Christian at the age of 13, I had to tell my mum and dad, and my friend from the gospel mission had to come with me to make sure that I did that. And it was Sunday evening, and it made, because of a special celebration in the mission, I was late home, and Mum was making sandwiches for herself and Dad for work the following day, and she said, "You were late tonight." And that didn't fill me with confidence, although she was a lovely mum. "Mum and Dad, I've been saved tonight," I said. Dad didn't look up from cleaning his boots. "Well, that's all very well," said my mum. "Have you sorted your uniform out for school yet?" "No." A bit of a letdown. But it did cause division, because Mum and I used to go to the cinema on a Saturday afternoon while Dad followed Oldham rugby. The mission didn't allow the cinema. It was false entertainment. So I had to say, "I can't go with you any longer." And she was very hurt. Sometimes people don't like us to change, do they? Even if it's for the better. Years later, she was my wingman, as they say, when I drove around the northwest of England preaching in sometimes remote areas. Always as we were driving home, Mum would say, "Don't we meet some lovely people?" She always sat at the front of the church and smiled at me if I looked at her. And if she thought I'd gone on too long, she would open and close her handbag with a loud click. Never give up praying for your family accepting Jesus. The end of our study tells us this is the way to find true life, to lose it. We're asked, how are you going to live? For yourselves alone, always looking out for number one? Don't, says Glenn Scrivener. You lose yourself. But we must never forget those who literally lay down their life for being Christians in many parts of the world, yes, even in 2024. If you let him, Jesus will help you to be the best that you can be, but you've got to ask him for that help. You might be amazed at the result. God bless you. Thank you for joining us.